Washington. America's new ambassador to Zambia used to keep the peace at Melanie's Pub in Amherst and third base in Buffalo. I got great diplomatic training as a Buffalo bar bouncer, said Daniel L. Foote, still tall and hulking and bouncer-like at 54. And America's new envoy to Mauritania, a somewhat smaller 56-year-old diplomat named Michael J. Dodman, thinks his passion for serving his nation overseas began with his interest in the foreign country just across the Niagara River. Those two new U.S. ambassadors, who took their oaths of office in December, are part of a contingent of envoys who grew up in Metro Buffalo. The United States has 188 ambassadors worldwide, and soon, as many as 3 will have roots in Buffalo. President Trump's nominee for ambassador to Colombia, career diplomat Joseph E. McManus, is also a Buffalo native. And the region could have claimed 4 envoys but for the recent resignation of Stephen Schwartz as ambassador to Somalia. By way of comparison, only 2 of the 435 members of the House serve the Buffalo region. I can't think of any specific reason for it, but it's a real honor for Buffalo to have that many people serving as ambassadors, said Anthony H. Joya, a Buffalo businessman who served as ambassador to Malta during the George W. Bush administration. It's probably the luck of the draw, but it's good. It's certainly good for Foote and Dodman, who served on the diplomatic front lines in Iraq and other hot spots before their recent appointments to head U.S. missions in Africa. They've certainly earned their spurs, Joya said. Dan Foote spent 7 years as a bouncer in Buffalo and New York City, but his diplomatic career took root before he was old enough to drink. In Foote's social studies classes at Williamsville East High School, I remember I was fascinated by all the places we studied, he said. Foote played on Williamsville East's Section 6 championship basketball team in 1981 and then moved on to Columbia University and its football team. After graduation, Foote went to work in finance in New York and then Buffalo. He moonlighted as a bouncer at places like the No Name Bar, but got bored with finance. Questing adventure, he joined the Peace Corps and found his calling in the mountains of Bolivia. I was kind of a middle-class, suburban, somewhat entitled guy, and all of a sudden I was living without electricity and without water and I could barely communicate or speak the language, he said. So it really did change my life. Every day was a great learning experience. Foote fell in love both with Bolivia and in Bolivia. He met his wife, Claudia, there. He even dreamed of becoming a Bolivian rock star before settling on a career in the Foreign Service, America's Corps of Trained Diplomats. He passed the Foreign Service exam in 1996 and got the sort of prune assignment that most beginning diplomats get, processing visa applications at an American consulate in Mexico. The diplomatic life later took Foote to Washington, London, and Luxembourg where, in Foote's words, he and his wife enjoyed French food with German portions. Never one to settle for the best, Foote, in 2006, volunteered to leave his family behind temporarily and go to Iraq.